The Arctic. At the time of 1846, it is one of the last fully uncharted places on Earth, and undoubtedly one of the deadliest. But hidden somewhere within this icy hell was a treasure that for whoever found it would be remembered as a hero for decades to come. A prize that Sir John Franklin's expedition of 128 men set to claim. At the height of the British Empire, naval trade was its lifeblood, with Asia being one of its more profitable markets, though the fastest route from England possible was to sail round South America and up through the Pacific Ocean, a journey that could take up to 6 months. But for centuries there had been a fabled route, a route that could shave months off the journey, the Northwest Passage. A route through the Arctic waters of northern Canada, much of which had already been charted from the hundreds of European expeditions that had come before, but none had ever made it to the other side. With the constant shifting of the pack ice and navigation tools of the time becoming more inaccurate inside the polar circle, a clear route through the frozen maze had never been found, with many saying that it just didn't exist. But Sir John Franklin was determined to make it his legacy, and despite his age, his experience in the Arctic, and status as a hero amongst the Admiralty, gained him the approval to command the British Navy's 19th expedition to the passage. He would captain the HMS Erebus, along with his executive officer Captain Francis Crozier commanding the HMS Terror, two of the most advanced ships in the fleet, modified for the journey with newly invented steam engine-assisted rudders and reinforced iron bows, to push and power through the ice. All back home and aboard were confident that there would be no need for a 20th expedition. Both vessels set off from Greenhithe in Kent on the morning of May 19, 1845, with a straight heading for Greenland, with only 2 small transport ships in tow. Within 30 days, the west coast of Greenland had been reached. With the transport ships not to accompany them any further on the journey, they departed with the crew's last letters for home, and 5 crew members that were dismissed due to ill health. They were the lucky ones. In late July, the Terror and the Erebus were sighted off Baffin Bay by English whalers. It is presumed they were waiting for better conditions before crossing into the Lancaster Sound. This would be the last time the expedition would ever be seen by Europeans. Due to that, information on events beyond this point can be hazy, but here is what we assume to be true. Franklin's men spent the winter of 1845 to 46 on Becky Island, where 3 crew members had died and were buried there. And when the summer came, they made it as far as King William's Island, until the ice trapped them, building up around the ships, unable to sail, stranded for good. The Victory Point note, named after where it was discovered, details the fate of the crew left in the tundra. They had spent the winters of 1846 and 47 aboard the ships. Franklin had died on June 11, 1847, with Crozier assuming command. With that command, the order to abandon the ships was made on April 22, 1848, with the decisions for the remaining crew to journey for the Black River on the 26th. All of the 105 men died on the march shortly thereafter. In the near 200 years that has followed the tragedy, it still carries such a fascination with it, almost to the level of folklore, spawning books, plays, TV shows, radio dramas, and all aspects of the tale. That has led to a lot of different depictions of the people that never came back. Some see John Franklin as an old man so self-obsessed with his own legacy that he took 128 men with him. Others a pioneer that quested further than any other but paid the price for it. But Franklin's not who I wish to talk about. Captain Francis Crozier was born in Banbridge, County Down, a few miles from where I was raised. Right in the middle of town is a monument in his honour, right across the road from his family home.
He's accredited here with being the first man to discover the Northwest Passage, as much as that claim's disputed, with the accreditation going to another Irish explorer by the name of Robert McClure. McClure's discovery wasn't actually found on an expedition in search of the passage, but in search of the Terror and the Erebus in 1854. But the passage wouldn't properly be navigated by sea until nearly 53 years later by Roland Amundsen.
Regardless of what the sign says, I still think the monument is earned. Crozier was forced to take command under the most extreme of circumstances. He was a leader to over 100 men as they walked through the most hostile environment on the planet. And, if he hadn't have left that note at Victory Point, the fate and the story of these men would have been lost in that hell right alongside them.